All right, another podcast, 321 show. Thank y'all. That was the girls helping us out to get started. So we're gonna just get a few questions answered. Some of y'all submitted some. We solicited some questions, and of course, we got some good ones. We got some crazy ones, and we're just gonna try to answer all of them. So, just to kind of start off with, the structure is gonna be basically we're gonna answer some questions. We'll talk about some of the new games, structure, stuff that's coming up this week, and then we'll get into the questions that Scotty and all of them want answered.
Yeah.
Of course. So first things first, we wanted to talk about RX versus scaled. Now we've talked about this in the past, but really people kind of have a negative connotation towards scaled, and they think that RX is a definition that you're a good athlete or you can do certain things, and it's not. So we try to reduce that stigma by saying, look, when we do our programming, we put RX and RX Plus because we program for the top dogs in the box.
That's right.
The ones that are going to do the heavyweight, the high skill movement, and they're going to do it in a certain amount of time or get a certain amount of rounds and reps. Everyone else should kind of scale below that.
That's right.
So just because you can't do the way it's written doesn't mean that you're not a good athlete. It just means, hey, you're just not quite there yet, or maybe you can do those things, but it's just not a good idea because we have a certain time goal.
Yeah. So if you look at it as when we have a goal time on there, say 13 minutes, right? If you do your workout and you scale some of the movements and you finish in 12:56, to me, and this is just me, I feel like you RX that workout because you finished it in the time goals. Now, did you do it how maybe Aero should do it, or some of our higher level athletes, or Trey, or some of these higher level athletes? No, but you fell right where you needed to be, and to me, that's the goal of prescribed. Of course, CrossFit Standard says, hey, this is the weights we're going to use. This is RX. Well, I look at it as try to RX that time goal, not so much the weights or whatever in that workout, and that's where the change is going to happen.
Right. Sometimes we talk about relative intensity. So just as an example, let's just say we have a workout with ring muscle ups and a run, let's just say. And the time goal to get all those reps done is 6 minutes. Well, you know that I can do ring muscle ups and running better than you can.
No doubt.
But what we want to do is we want to have the same relative intensity. So while I may do it RX and finish it in 6 minutes, we want to change those movements or that run distance so that you can feel the same as me. You'd have that same intensity just scaling the movements or the distance and still finish in that 6 minutes. So while I might do ring muscle ups and a run 400 meters, you may do bar muscle ups, and instead of doing 10, you might do 6.
That's right.
That way we can kind of get out of the door at the same time. And instead of doing a 400 or 800 meter run, maybe you're doing a 200 or 400 meter run, but you're still able to keep that relative intensity and hit that time goal.
So what we're talking about here is that's what you should worry about. Okay. Now, as far as clicking the blue button on Wodify, if you do the workout as prescribed, say it's a 100-pound thruster, 20 ab mat sit-ups, 100 double unders, whatever. If you do a 100-pound thruster, the ab mats and the double unders as it's written on the board, click the RX button.
Yeah.
If you modify it any kind of way, just put it in the notes.
Even just one little thing.
Now, when it comes down to bar-facing burpees, we know CrossFit Standard is you jump over the bar. If at some point in time you step over the bar, I'm still clicking RX because who really cares at the end of the day?
And we'll get into some of that in a little bit more because that's going to be in some of the other questions. But yeah, so just to kind of move forward so we don't get too far, I'm sure we can ramble on about this stuff a lot. But one of the questions that was asked was from one of the new ones, the new athletes that we have, Amy, and she was kind of concerned about, she was a little confused how to score AMRAPs. So to start off with, we've got a ton of our own language, AMRAPs and all kind of crazy stuff like that. But AMRAPs, it really just stands for as many rounds as possible. So if you have, let's just say 10 squats, 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups, and you have it's for 10 minutes. Well, 3, 2, 1, go. The 10-minute clock starts. You're going to do 10, 10, and 10, and you're just going to keep on going. Every time you complete a round, that's a round. And then whenever we say time, if you finished 6 rounds, and then on that last round you had done 10 squats and 10 sit-ups, then your score would be plus 20.
Plus 20. That's right.
So it's just the extra reps that you had done without completing another round.
Or it's sometimes we may have a run in there or something to where it doesn't equal out. We may tell you that the run counts as 1. So, and it might be as many reps as possible. So that 10, 10, 10 plus that run might be 31 reps. So if you do 6 rounds, you're talking 186 reps.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Again, ask the coach before how we're scoring it, whether it's rounds or counting the total number. Either way, some little quick math at the end, and you should be right where you need to be. But yeah, that's all AMRAP is, just as many reps as possible or as many rounds as possible.
Yeah. Another question that I got asked was, well, I can do this stuff RX, so should I? And it kind of goes back to that time goal thing. Yeah. And the only thing that we didn't really touch on was sometimes it's okay. Like, look, if you want to, like 80 to 90% of the time, go after it, but hit the time goals, scale certain things, have some fun, have the best hour of your day, that's fantastic. That's what we want to do. But sometimes you just want to grind it out. You're like, you know what? I can do these movements. There's no chance in hell I'm hitting the time goal.
Right.
I just want to go through it. I just want to do some grunt work today. And that's fine too. But just understand, we don't want you to do that all the time just so you can click RX and be towards the top of the leaderboard, because you're not doing yourself any favors.
I look at it as like, for me, if the workout I know is going to be 18 plus minutes, and I may be kind of shady when it comes to some of the movements, I might go ahead and just grind it out and just get good work in. But if we have a workout that just says 6 minutes, as many rounds as of whatever you can do, and it has, say, a 225-pound snatch in it, or something that you know you might get one of and not too many more, well, I don't want you to get one round in 6 minutes. You know, that's when we'd scale down, use lighter weight, push hard for that shorter period of time. Some of these hero workouts are 30 minutes. Do it RX, grind it out. Yep. You know, feel that burden for 30 minutes. I have no issues with that. It's when we do, 6-minute AMRAP, and some of our top guys get 8 rounds in 6 minutes, and then I tried to go RX and I got 3.5. Well, we didn't do the same workout. I barely did half of what they did in that amount of time. Yeah. So just like I said, when in doubt, ask your coach. If you ask me, I'm always going to tell you go lighter, go faster. But sometimes it is okay to strap up and give it the old college try.
Yeah, just ask questions. That's going to be the main theme. Another question that we got was about hand care. We had somebody post something about their first new little blister they got in their hand, and that's kind of like a CrossFit rite of passage, but it's painful and it's not fun, especially if you really get after it and get real deep and that thing's bleeding, and then you can't grab the bar for the next couple of days. So it's no bueno. So
we've all been there. Number one thing is just don't get lazy with it. Stay on top of it. Those calluses will build fast. It's the actual, you think that your hands are getting hard, that it's good, but that's actually what rips. The healthy skin isn't what's going to rip. So in our house, we shave our hands with a callus shaver. It costs $3 at Walmart. If it breaks or we run out of blades, we buy a new one. We used to use pumice stones, but we find that the callus shaver works best for us.
Yeah, and that's what I do too. And the problem is you get these little ridges. If you kind of rub your finger across, if you can feel a little ridge, that is a weak point. That's what's gonna rip on the bar. Because once you grab that bar, it has like a little C shape here, and when you're doing any kind of kipping motion or that pulling, and you're really torquing on that skin, especially when it's hot outside and you're sweaty, that stuff gets pliable, and that's going to be the piece that goes. Yeah. So shave it down, make sure you don't go too low to where you start bleeding, but get those ridges off, and you'll be good to go.
And with that comes with, for some of us that have been around long enough, like I know what gymnastics grips works for me. I know what doesn't work for me. Gloves or anything like that, I don't have the biggest hands, so any kind of padding on the gloves I lose, real estate when it comes to gripping the bar or the rig. So most of the time I don't use any, or I use some gymnastics grips, but they're the right size for my hand. They're the right ones.
Yeah, those are pretty popular with us. Those Bear Complex, they're really thin and they just kind of cover the palm of the hand. That way that grip takes the brunt of that torque instead of your
And with
hands.
that being said, is I've gone through gloves, I've gone through multiple sets of gymnastics grips, I've gone through any kind of gimmick, bare hands. So we've used them all. Just figure out what works best for you. Everybody's different.
Yep. Yeah. So talking about hand care, I also wanted to talk a little bit about equipment care. It's easy for us to not really care about some of the equipment here because it's not yours, but ultimately it is. And the reason I say that is, Ray and Dara buy all this stuff because it's part of the business, but it is part of our responsibilities to take care of it as well. You can take a little bit of ownership. That way they last, especially the 10-pound plates. If you only have one 10-pound plate on either side and you drop the bar from way up top, they're not going to last. Those 15-pound plates, the same thing. The middles just start popping out of them. So just be careful. They're bumper plates and they are made to drop, so we don't want you to hurt yourself. But if you're doing it just to ghost ride them and drop them down and stuff, then we can have problems there. So just take care of all the equipment in there and act like it's yours. And that way all the stuff will last for all of us.
And the only thing I'll touch on that is, it's the hottest part of the year right now. We're all dropping a ton of sweat. If you sweat your bar all up, we have oil and stuff. Just ask. Either I'll do it or I'll show you how to do it, because say you use that bar at 9 o'clock in the morning and it's sweaty, you just put it on a rack and no one else touches it that day. Mm-hmm. It's just sitting in the humidity with, and the salt from your sweat is, you can see on my personal bar, it's peeled the paint off of it, and I do take care of my bar.
Yep.
So to not take care of it and just sit there, it's pretty corrosive to the metal. So yeah, just a little wipe down, or every now and then if you want to hit it with some oil or whatever, just ask one of the coaches. They know where it is.
And even it goes as far as like wall balls and GHDs and everything else. If you're sweating like crazy and you finish the wad, wipe that off, because if we don't really see it and you see it, the next person that comes up isn't want to come grab a nasty sweaty ball.
We do sanitize the mats at least once a week. I got some special cleaner from the people that make the floor scrubber, and we make sure that gets on the mats at least once a week. If we do it on Sunday, by Tuesday it doesn't look like it's been scrubbed because of the dust from the doors and everything, but they are getting sanitized regularly.
So now I want to kind of shift gears a little bit, talk about some fun stuff. This Thursday is the holy grail of CrossFit. This is the Super Bowl of CrossFit, the CrossFit Games, trying to find the fittest person on earth. They start this week. So there's tons of changes that have taken place this year, from qualifications to how it's going to work. And if you hadn't kept up with it, it is super confusing.
It is. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And even keeping up with it, to me, it's still a lot.
So just kind of a high level, they used to have the CrossFit Open. Every single person in the world can join in. They'll take the top 20 per area, per region. They would go to regionals. They would take the top 1 to 5 people from regionals, and they would go to the games. Well, this year they cut out regionals, and now you could go through the Open, and it was a direct qualifier into the games, top 20 in the world. They didn't take any teams from the Open, so the other way to qualify was through sanctional events. These were events held by other individuals. They can hold their own competition. It was kind of sponsored through CrossFit. They got the approval, but they can make up all their own WODs and everything else. And from there, they would take the top person and the top male, top female, and top team, and they would get their invite from there. Now, there's a whole big old backfill scenario where if you've already got an invite and you won the sanctionals, it would go to the next person. And I'm not going to get into all that because it's mind-boggling to say the least.
Multiple layers of ways to qualify.
Yeah. But after all of that, there are 148 men, 134 women, and think only 14 teams that are making it to the games this week. So that's a lot, especially considering that they usually only have 40 that make it. They'll have 40 teams, 40 females, 40 males, and that's a lot.
The difference this year versus all the other years is they didn't start cutting until later in the week. After the first event, everybody's basically getting cut in half. So those 148 is going to go down to 75, and so is the women down to 75 after the first event.
Yeah.
So if you were from Nicaragua,
so that was the other thing we didn't talk about too, was that also in the Open they had national champions.
The fittest from each country that has an active affiliate got a nod to the CrossFit Games. So Papua New Guinea, you know, when you're going next to Matt Fraser, you better be ready, you know. But, I mean, it's a good thing. You know, it helps spread the word. Kind of like the Olympics, the opening ceremony is going to be cool. But when it comes down to the brass tacks, they're getting rid of those cats super quick.
And it's kind of a hard pill to swallow for some, I'd imagine, because if you're in this other country a million miles away and you're spending $5,000 to $10,000 to come here knowing that you're going to get
waxed
monkey stomped
in the first
one. But, again, I guess if you're in that sport, the pinnacle of that sport is to get to the CrossFit Games. So I'm sure they're going to do whatever it takes to get there and, you know, unfortunately get cut. But
quick.
So they'll start off with the 148 for the men, 134 for the women, get cut down to 75 for the first event, and then it cuts 50, then it cuts down to 40, then 30, 20, and then they'll end up with the final 10 by, I believe, Sunday. They'll have 10.
So the last day will be 10.
Yeah. And I also saw, I don't know if you saw that on Instagram, but Dave Castro, or CrossFit rather, put in this deal to reserve or to actually close down some streets in Madison near the lake, so there'll be a water event. So
off-site water event.
Usually we'll know at least a couple of workouts for the games by this time, but they haven't released anything. But I think this is the first kind of inkling that we've got towards one of the events, that they will be a water event, but according to that it was scheduled for Sunday, so it must be like a top 10 kind of deal. Other thing that I read was, you know, one of the fun parts about going is you get to see the swag that everybody gets.
All the gear.
Reebok just gives them, you know, 20 shorts, 20 shirts, 100 shoes, all kind of fun stuff. So they're giving that to everybody that's there at the beginning of the week, but then they're going to do a second re-outfitting, I guess you could say, on Friday once it's kind of gotten down.
Cool.
So they're going to get some extra stuff by making it to a certain point. So, I mean, I'm kind of super excited to see what in the hell they're going to do to knock them down from 150 in half to 75. Because
I just hope it's CrossFit. I hope it's not. Not say that with, all right, so we know CrossFit can be anything measurable, physical. But I hope it's not, you know, no offense to Zach, but it's not a triathlon.
Right.
You know?
Well, it's not,
If you're coming from a desert country in Africa, because you won, and the first thing you got to do is swim open water in a lake, I don't want that to be what separates people. I want it to be CrossFit. You know, let's do something for time or some AMRAPs or something, and then let's separate like that.
It almost has to be some type of like all inclusive. You're gonna have to have some kind of barbell to separate. You're gonna have to have some kind of gymnastics to separate, some endurance.
I know, you know, like I've read like Dave Castro's book on the games and some other people that chimed in, and you know, when we start getting to the CrossFit Games, we're not looking for the fittest CrossFitters on the planet anymore. We already have those guys. They are the fittest CrossFitters on the world. Now we start trying to push the fabric of human performance. So they basically tried to break these guys and just see who's the best at it. And I'm okay with that. But I just don't want it to be the first event and break half the people off on something that I want it to be CrossFit.
I don't think they're going to do that. But, the other thing that's interesting this year is they're still doing the 100-point system to where first place gets 100 points, and then it kind of goes down to like 97, 95, and things like that, and then there'll be more of a gap. But once they start doing all the cuts, that gap in between those points changes. So, like, first place is 100 all the time. Second place, when there's 148 people, you might be 97 points. Whereas when you get down to 10, second place might be like 95 or 93. They have it on there online somewhere. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but that's basically the way that it's going to work. So I'm hoping that it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because something has to change. And the reason I'm saying that is the people that are going to go out and win, they're going to win. It doesn't matter what the points are. But if it ends up being a closer race towards the end, and if it's down to 10 people and you kind of screw it up and end up in 8th place, it's not like 8th place when they had 40 people.
Right.
It's 8th place.
Might cost you 25 points versus.
I think 10th place when it gets there gets like next to zero points. So if you've got like a 70-point lead, let's just say, and you fumble, but you're in 8th, which still throughout the years, 8th place wouldn't have been so bad against those top 10 guys, but because the points are so, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic, but
we'll see Saturday.
Yeah. It's going to be great for us,
yeah,
entertainment value, but I'm just, kind of thinking from their point of view, but we shall see. But the teams kind of works the same way. Like I said, they have 14 teams to start, which is not a lot.
No.
And I think the teams is probably going to be the best thing to watch.
Yeah, no doubt.
Down to 4 people per team, and just about every single person, people that follow CrossFit, because they got some studs out there, some stud teams. But they'll be cut down to 11, 9, 7, and then 5 for the final day. So it's kind of that same type of deal.
We're seeing, this is like the first year of the super teams.
Yeah.
Before, when it started, your team had to be from an affiliate. Your address had to be registered there, or you had to work out 50% of the time. In the last couple of years, I guess we could say Mayhem kind of bridged the gap on having the resources to move athletes to them. And still maintain that they work out at that affiliate or whatever. But this year with the sanctionals, you have teams made up of people from Canada and California, and they all fly in to compete on that team and go to work,
Yeah, they got some studs out there for
it's
sure.
going to be good.
So I wanted to kind of talk about some of the power rankings and some of the teams that are showing up. And, of course, Morning Chalk Up, if you don't follow them, they're a really good site that has tons of up-to-date CrossFit news. So go check them out. But they put together some power rankings. And, of course, Matt Fraser, Pat Vellner, Brent Fakowski, they got some pretty big names up at the top, BKG. But some of the people that I was really looking forward to is they talk about the wild card. That's a new thing. Well, it's not really a new thing, but they actually used it this year. Yeah. So it's got a bunch of people's panties in a wad.
An acceptance.
Yeah.
So we don't know if they offered them before. They said they have, but no one's ever accepted it. Yeah. So this year, someone's accepted a wild card.
Yeah, so the guy's name is Hunter McIntyre. And I love this guy. I think he's brash. He's funny. He's a hell of an athlete. Dude does Tough Mudders and Spartan races and all those types of things. Super, super high endurance. But he also does CrossFit. So he started kind of lobbying for this new wild card spot. Started training real hard CrossFit. Wasn't doing any of those Tough Mudders and things like that. And just ends up getting the wild card.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of CrossFit people that are pretty pissed off about it because they're like, man, you didn't pay your dues, you didn't do this, that, and the other. And I get it. Like, I see their view. But CrossFit also came up with this wild card for a reason. They call it the blowhard card.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be this guy who's going to be talking all this smack because you think you can hang with these guys, Greg Glassman says, hey, look, I'll give you a free invite to the games. Come over here and show your stuff. So they finally used this card with this guy, and everybody's like, man, that's messed up. It's like, well, don't be mad at him. He's just taking advantage of it.
I see we talked about it the other day, and the only thing about this guy that, I kind of disagree with his wild card is that he was already a CrossFitter. He did the Open and didn't match up. He didn't go to sanctionals and try, but he made a lot of noise, and the thing is CrossFit is a business, okay? He has a huge following in the endurance world. The Tough Mudders, the Spartan racers. He's there, Rich Fronin. So he does have a following, you know. But my thing is, he is a good CrossFitter in terms of normal relative people. But he's not going to the CrossFit Games against normal relative CrossFitters. You know, these are the best CrossFit athletes on the planet. And they're not doing a Spartan race. You know, these guys, like, and he has good numbers. He could snatch 225. Well, Ben Smith got the other wild card, and he snatched 300 with a broken knee. You know, so when it comes to those lifts, the things like that most in the crowd won't be separated by, he'll be separated by that. You know, but hopefully, you know, they have a couple wides that play in his favor, and he sticks around longer than one day. I'll be pretty upset if he's cut at the first 50.
Yeah,
you know?
I think he's probably talented enough, and there's a bunch of national champions to be weeded out before him. But he's definitely going to get crushed. I mean, there's no chance he ever even sniffs the weekend. But, you know, it's still, again, for us, it's fantastic. I love it. I'm glad that he's doing it.
No, I mean, it brings more attention to our sport, you know, for me, and that's good. It's going to be fun to see a more average human being go against these guys, because it's going to give us an understanding of, hey, look what happens when it's not a professional CrossFitter out there, you know? But yeah, like I said, I just hope he doesn't get cut at the first 50. That would be pretty disappointing to me.
Right. So another guy that's kind of struck my curiosity, I started following him on Instagram. The guy's name is Bronislaw Olenkowicz. I don't even know how to say his name. But this dude, one of the first sanctionals was CrossFit Strength in Depth.
Yeah.
He wins it outright. And they keep talking about his amazing feats of strength. So I go and follow him. And this guy's doing ridiculous things with the barbell overhead. Huge numbers. I think he did like 315 snatch or a 305 snatch for a triple unbroken. Like I'm not talking about breaking in between. I'm talking
from descendants of Vikings or something with all that name. So but yeah, you know, that's the thing about these sanctionals, and you know, you don't have to, you might have an off workout in the open and you never heard of again. You know, here you got multiple opportunities to get your name out, you know, and you play the right wads at the right sanctional, and you know, you're in Madison, you know. That's what's cool to me about the new format.
So just for fun, I figured that maybe me and you can have some podium predictions of who you might think will take men, women, and the teams first, second, and third on the podium. I'll start off, and of course, I'm pretty sure we're both going to pick Matt Fraser.
I say outside that the podium doesn't change from last year.
Okay, so last year it was Fraser,
Vellner, and Fikowski.
No, it wasn't Fikowski. It was the dude from Sweden.
KBG or whatever.
No. Hold on. Lucas Högberg. Yeah, Högberg.
So throw him in the mix, but I think that's your top four: Fikowski, Vellner, Fraser, and you know.
Yeah, and
third place to me is, I think personally, everyone's playing for second place. You know, unless Matt Fraser dislocates an elbow, he's gonna win by 300 points by Thursday. You know.
Yeah.
Third place, it could be a wash, because all it has to do is somebody string together something, you know, make a late run, and they're good to go. But yeah, I think Pat Vellner is on the podium. Fraser, of course, unless something tragic happens.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm kind of the
pretty
same
sure
way.
he could lose an arm and still be in the top 5.
Yeah, he'll make it to Sunday.
Yeah, he'll be there.
The top two is the same for me, Fraser and Vellner, but my third would be BKG.
He's
Bjorkman,
been in the fight.
Carl
He's
Goodmanson.
been in the fight. He's been close.
Yeah. Females.
No one's touching Tia Toomey.
Yeah, I think there's just something in the water over there in Cookville, and between Rich, Fraser, and Toomey, they just.
You know, there's the saying of, you know, a percentage of you are who you keep around you. You know, and they're not training with us, guys. Like, let's be real. You know, when you look across the mat of who you're working out with, and it's the fittest human on the planet, the fittest male, and you're right there with him. You know, I just don't see that happening to that caliber with other athletes. There's other athletes that train together in groups, but you know, not to say Rich Froning has any guidance over these people, but they're in his house. They're there. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's touching Tia Toomey this year.
Yeah.
You know.
So Tia, my number 2 would be Sarah, Sigma's daughter. I think she's going to be the Queen of Iceland this year. She's going to be the one to get second. And while I want Annie, Thor's daughter, to maybe be third, just looking at some other things, and one person that I've been following I thought was amazing, and she's the one that I actually want to make the podium, is Amanda Barnhart.
Yeah.
She's, I think, her second year is this year. She figured out a lot of stuff from last year. I watched her at one of the competitions, the last one that they had, and she just, like, destroyed the competition. And then they had Jamie Green in that competition with her, and she looked like she was on another
It's hard for me.
planet.
Like, I feel like the guys separate themselves a lot more than the females do. I mean, you look at the guys from 4th to 10th, you know, it's a wash. You know, the girls, I say from 1st to 5th could be anybody.
Super exciting to watch.
And most of the time, for the women, it's someone new that's throwing their hat in there too. You know, someone we overlook that all of a sudden it's like, well, hey, who is this girl? That's, you know, that happened with Sarah a couple years ago. We didn't even know who she was, and then she just wouldn't let go. You know.
So for the teams, I think some of that's going to be. I don't think it's just going to be, oh, it's Mayhem again.
No, it's not. It won't be Mayhem.
With all those super teams, I think Mayhem's definitely going to be on the podium. But
chances are an Invictus team makes it because they have like 4.
Invictus has some studs.
Yeah.
Another one was OC3 Black, who beat them at Rogue. They beat Mayhem at Rogue. So I'm kind of leaning towards giving OC3 Black the nod. Maybe Mayhem in second, and
an Invictus.
And then I think maybe an Invictus team, yeah.
You can't never count Mayhem out just because of what they have done in the games and how much they hate not winning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most teams are happy to be there. They're not okay with being there. They're pissed if they're second. You know.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so now I figure since that was enough of us rambling on about the games, I figure we can hit some of these funny questions. So, of course, like I was talking about earlier, we solicited some questions from Facebook, and everybody did not disappoint. So
is this rapid fire, or are we discussing this?
Let's just do a little rapid fire, because we've been talking for a little while. I don't know how long we've been chatting about, but let's do some rapid fire. And then if you want to elaborate a little bit on why, then feel free, because we got time.
Understood.
Whatever. So Leslie, of course, starts it off. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
I'm not getting into this.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of stupid because we all know that the aliens created this universe, so obviously there was no egg. It was the chicken.
On how you want your protein.
Yeah.
Eat it in egg form or let it grow and eat it in adult form.
Yeah. Nate says, if the tree falls in the woods and no one is around, does it make a noise? Actually, yes.
It does, Nate. You're an engineer. You already know the answer to that question.
The real way is, does it make a sound? Because a sound has to be heard by definition. It has to be heard by human ears. So in that case, it would be no.
Guess what? I
But
bet you a
Nate,
bear
you failed.
here.
Yeah. All right, Scott says, Scott's got a few because, of course, he's the character. Are eyebrows considered facial hair?
At some point, they are. If you have to trim them, then yes, they're
Yeah.
considered facial hair. For
Right.
normal humans, no.
No. Which armrest do you use in a movie theater?
Both of them, son.
Yeah, no. Just nudge the next person away, or you got to tuck them in the back,
Chances
or
are they're not
you got
going
them
to
up
push
in
you
the front.
back off. So
Yeah.
they're both yours. Enjoy.
Yeah. Is working out a sport? Well, yeah, of course,
The
Scotty.
sport of fitness.
Yeah, sport of
Scott.
fitness. Get on our level. He would know if he came to CrossFit. Do fish get thirsty?
Ask them, and then you let me know.
I don't know. I tried to talk to a catfish once, but he didn't respond. Can I get a refund on my membership fees if I don't make the games?
You can get a refund on your membership fees at any time you want. We have great customer service at WordPress CrossFit.
Yeah, and I'm sure Scotty directed this one to me. Is soccer even a sport? And of course, the answer is yes. And your kids will play soccer, so you'll find out soon enough.
The definition of this is soccer is the most popular sport on the entire planet. That's because all these other third world countries can't afford leather footballs or baseball bats. So they kick boulders around in the dirt. So yes, Scott, it is a sport.
Yeah. So then his next one, is cheerleading even a sport?
I would say yes, because I can't throw a 110-pound girl 25 foot in the air and catch her on one hand. It's pretty impressive to me, so yes.
All right, so this one, Cole is going to @ Scott. Can you still click RX if you step over the bar on bar-facing burpees?
I stepped over the bar 4 times. I clicked RX.
Yeah. But if you click RX, does that mean that you're still going to regionals and
so
the games?
The definition is during the CrossFit Open, if the standard is to jump over the barbell with 2 feet, then no, it is a no rep. During the regular week, no one cares. Work hard.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Work hard. Get on the leaderboard. And then, of course, Scott's rebuttal was, Cole, do you even work out?
So being a coach and seeing what Cole does most days, absolutely he works out. He just PR'd. What was that workout Friday?
Oh, Lord. With the 30 rounds?
30 round workout. He just
Holly
crushed
Man?
it using 30 more pounds than he did the year before.
Yeah. And I didn't
Good
even
job, Cole. Keep killing it.
Jesus Christ. WTF, because we're keeping it PG, is plant power. It doesn't exist, Scotty.
I'm not sure.
It's not true. It's
Maybe
not
it's
real
the
stuff.
heat that compost produces. Other than that, I don't have that in my vocabulary.
Clint had a pretty good one I thought was interesting. I've never heard this before, but why is every sea in Pacific Ocean pronounced differently? And yes, as soon as I read that, I sounded it out. I was like, Pacific Ocean. Sure enough. Write it down, look it up, read it. Good job, Clint.
You're just on a different level, bro. I don't know.
So, of course, Blake says, where do babies come from? And we don't even have to answer this because Leslie already answered it. She says that's easy. France. They come from France.
They definitely come from France.
They do come from France. That's why you can't understand them when they first come out. Why doesn't Eddie's arms reach over his head?
That's because every time he does more than 6 pull-ups of any variation, he blows his biceps smooth out his body. So he's on strict orders to keep his hands below his head.
Leslie asks, is there a pattern behind prime numbers? The only prime that I care about is Amazon and ribs, so I don't care about numbers.
Yeah.
Why did the chicken cross the road? From Scott. Well, Blake answered that to go to Popeyes, obviously.
Yeah, I'm cool with that answer.
Why do drive-up ATMs have Braille on them? Because we don't judge people if they want to drive and be blind. I'm not telling them what they can and can't do. They're already hurting.
So what if they're in the back seat? Because obviously they're not driving. I mean,
yeah, Blake.
You could tell Skippy to reach on out there and touch them bumps, and he can see what's going on or read what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Scotty wants to know, how many pairs of shoes does Eric own? I was actually going to count them before I came today, and I kind of forgot, but I would probably guess it's getting close to 100 because I don't throw shoes away. Although what I do is when I stop wearing them all the time, I actually hand them down to Alex because he wears the same size as me. So
or he jams them in his locker in the box.
Yeah, or that too.
About 15
so
in there.
If you include my house, my closet, the box, and Alex's house, it's probably 135 million.
Yeah.
But hey, who's counting? You can have one thing free for the rest of your life. What do you choose?
I mean, I feel like toilet paper is pretty. It's a pretty legit.
Yeah, but it's not really that expensive, so I don't know. I'd say sushi. I think sushi would definitely be something I'd pick because I eat that way too often. That's why I'm getting fatter.
That's a good one, I guess.
Yeah. If you entered a beauty pageant, what would your talent be?
My talent? I don't know. Obviously, not training CrossFit clients because there's a bunch of questions of everyday things, so the point's not getting across.
Yeah. Do you think you could kill any creature on Earth if you're armed with 2 samurai swords?
Could I kill any creature?
Any creature on Earth? No, you're
First
not killing
of all,
a bear.
A tiger weighs like 900 pounds. No chance you're killing a tiger with 2
You know how close a tiger's got to be for you to hit it with a damn samurai sword?
Yeah, they're 11 foot long, so its arm is at least 4 foot.
So the answer is no.
0 chance. You're killing every creature.
If you could be a ghost and haunt one person, who would it be?
Dude, I aggravate Dara so much alive. You think she's getting away after I'm gone? No chance.
Oh, yeah. I'd definitely go to Scotty's house. I'd mess with Scotty pretty bad.
No, I wouldn't even want to be around. I wouldn't want to be around him dead. He's supposed to be at peace. Can't be at peace with that dude.
That shit would be fun. I get to haunt him.
No. He'd be questioning you and shit about normal things.
Yeah, he probably would. He'd probably try to sue me. You know those lawyers. Could you count to 1 million nonstop in order to get $1 million?
No.
And the answer is no.
I'm not mentally that
So
tough.
when I saw this question, I was like, well, let me do a little math. If you count to 1 million, 1 per second, it would take you 11 and a half days of nonstop 24/7 counting.
No chance.
No, I'm not getting that million. How would you get kicked out of Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory? I thought this was a pretty fantastic question because
I think I'm
love
licking
that
the
show.
wall too.
Oh yeah, the schnozberries
I'm
definitely
licking
taste
the
like
wall,
schnozberries.
man.
Yeah, but that doesn't get you kicked out though.
When you,
But I'm stealing the everlasting
floaty bubbles,
gobstopper.
the floaty bubbles was alright too.
Yeah, that was good.
That was
but I
good.
wasn't gonna burp. I was gonna try to fart my way down.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
ain't
used to
lie
think.
though. I still think the chocolate stream's pretty disgusting. So,
Yeah.
because I did see a kid stick their finger in the chocolate fountain at Golden Corral one time. So, like,
Kind of the same
it's
thing.
contaminated, guys.
Okay.
Stay out the chocolate stream.
All right, you're too sick to change the channel. What channel do you leave the TV on?
I would just leave it on the TV guide and just
Oh my God, no.
watch what's coming on.
That's a negative. I'd probably have to have the NFL Network or something. You get to hang out with one person that you've always wanted to hang out with, but they die immediately after. Who do you pick? And let's not take the easy way. You can't just pick somebody you hate because that's not fair. It's got to be somebody that you like.
Like, honestly, okay? I don't know if there's anybody I would be like, man, I would do anything to hang out with that guy for one day. And then to know that if I admired him that much,
And he
that
dies.
they died.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I feel like I'd take the easy way out and say, I'm just going to go hang out with Scott again, but...
Hey, Scott, you want to go fishing
Yeah,
Saturday?
I know. Let's go fishing, Scotty. All right. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Depends. Are the hot dogs in hot dog form or they're cut in half? Because you can put them on a po' boy. They have that all the time. Hot dog po' boy. But I would say yes. It is definitely
It's
a
meat
sandwich.
and bread. I say yes.
Yes.
Is the S or C silent in scent? SCENT. Like you're smelling.
I would just go ahead and say the S is silent because when I carry change in my pocket, that's cents with a C-E-N-T,
Yeah.
and it says the exact same as S-C-E-N-T, so I'm going to just drop the S.
All right. One of Scott's favorites. Do vegetarians eat animal crackers?
First of all, the argument could be that they're cookies. You know, right off the top, vegetarians, you know.
But don't you find it kind of funny that a lot of vegetarians or
I have
vegans...
so many questions about
they
that could be a podcast on its own. Maybe
like they have the
Elaine,
Impossible
you know.
Burger. Like, if you're trying to get away from meat, why are you trying to eat the Impossible Burger? I know it's vegetarian, but why are you trying to eat stuff that's like meat? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a whole other podcast.
Because they want to eat meat.
Yeah, I just don't get it. But hey, more power to you. It doesn't affect me none. So, all right, now I got a few would you rather's. These are pretty funny, and it's just you got to pick one. Would you rather? Okay. Would you rather have half of your teeth or half of your hair?
Okay, I have a question on this question. Is it half of my teeth as in number or length of teeth? Because if it's like cutting half of my teeth
And
down,
I think I'd say half of the number because you only
okay,
got half
yeah,
your hair.
then definitely half of my hair because I'm not trying to eat soup
Yeah.
every day.
I totally
I like
agree.
to chew. Hair can be gone.
All right. Would you rather kill 25 kittens in a row or one dog?
Oh, kittens are gone.
Kittens
In a sack with
Yeah.
a brick in the water.
out of there. That's an easy one. Would you rather burp the sound of a gong or sneeze the sound of a bowling strike?
I sneeze way more than I burp, so I would definitely love the bowling strike because I sneeze about 4 times in a row too.
Can
so.
you imagine? That would be so funny. Yeah, I think I would. I don't know. I think I'd rather do the gong because I don't sneeze as much. I'd rather burp the
But
sound
it would
of
be
the gong.
funny, like if randomly you just hit the gong real quick.
Yeah, it just right now because you can do it on tap. Yeah. All right. Would you rather live in a country music video or a rap music video for the rest of your life?
I'm gonna go with country music. I don't know if I blend in naturally with the rap game.
Well, even still, like I thought about this too. Like I definitely the country music because they're going fishing,
Drinking
they're
beer,
driving
got big
trucks. Yeah,
Usually
and they
by
got
a
pretty
water
girls too.
source.
Yeah, yeah. I
Alright.
can't hang in a rap video. Would you rather fart popcorn or sneeze butter?
Definitely more pleasant to fart popcorn because if you sneeze butter,
Yeah,
it's
but
greasy.
Think about
Something's-
the texture of a popcorn. Man, that's coming out. That's gonna hurt. That'll leave a mark.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, okay. Would you rather vomit every time someone says hurricane or wear a fedora for the rest of your life?
I like Indiana Jones, man. I might wear the fedora.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't like throwing up. That sucks. Would you rather have no friends or have no internet?
I mean, nowadays, you need the internet to call your friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably just drop the internet.
Yeah,
It's too stressful, you know?
Yeah, me too. Would you rather prove ghosts are real or prove aliens are real? Well, that's easy.
So,
aliens
are real.
Yeah, I know.
You know, Ancient Aliens comes
read
on
a
every
book,
Friday,
people.
all day.
Yeah.
Just watch that one day.
Exactly.
Call me after.
Earth is flat.
It is flat.
Would you rather know when you're going to die or how you're going to die?
I don't know, because then you could kind of start taking precautions if you know, like,
Yeah.
if you get crushed by pane of window glass.
I think I'd rather want to know how, because if I knew when, like if it was a certain date and time,
you start
I'd be
mourning
nervous.
yourself and everything.
It doesn't matter how it is. You don't know how, or you
I
just
think
it's gonna happen.
how would be better than
Because
when.
how could be any time. Still could be a surprise. I don't like that. Would you rather be a drug lord or a cult leader?
So, funny thing is, I'm basically a cult general manager.
Yeah.
Because CrossFit is a cult, guys. It's a good cult,
in
but
case
it
you
is a
didn't
cult, and I manage an affiliate. So guess what? You're all a member.
Yeah. Would you rather get uglier or dumber as you age?
Well, chances are I'm probably doing both at the same time right now. So I would much rather get uglier, but I think I'm going in both directions.
All right. Would you rather say every single thought out loud or never speak again? That's a tough one.
I would go with say every thought out loud. You'd probably lose some friends, but people will respect you.
100% you losing friends.
Yeah, but people
you
will
losing
respect
clients, you losing members.
Yeah.
Because even when you're thinking stupid
Because
stuff,
they would ask
just
me a
being
question,
silly.
I'd just be like, this is the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is Tiffany would still be around because we tell her that stuff all the time.
Yeah,
anyways.
no doubt.
Yeah. Let's see. Where am I at? All right. Would you rather have finger-sized nipples or nipple-sized fingers?
I would definitely rather nipple-sized fingers than having this hanging off my chest.
I don't know, bro. You can't do nothing with nipple-sized fingers.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Yeah,
you just
right.
tape them down. It's all right.
Right.
Yeah. Take the finger-sized nipples.
Just blowing in the wind.
Yeah. All right. Would you rather eat your family pet or kill your best friend? Bubba, what you doing back there, boy?
I don't know. I would probably just eat the dog. Killing a human, that's a capital crime.
Yeah.
We could probably get on the grill and.
Well, I mean, if you kill the pet, that's against the law too.
Yeah, but you get off a little bit earlier.
Okay.
You get out a couple more years.
Yeah,
instead of
probably
killing
so.
a human.
Would you rather wear someone else's dirty underwear or someone else's dirty toothbrush?
All right, it just depends on the person. Cause like
that is the truth.
Because I might get away with using my wife's toothbrush, but it's some dirty
Bubba.
underwear for somebody that don't. Come on, open the door. Yeah, so I'm probably going. Honestly though, I'd probably just rock somebody dirty underwear for a day.
Yeah,
it wouldn't bother me too much. Come on, dude.
Come on, buddy. All right, would you rather spend the day wearing wet socks or spend the day with a popcorn kernel stuck in your teeth?
Give me that kernel.
Yeah, I can't handle.
I have a rule in my life:
socks.
wet drawers or wet socks, you go home.
Yeah, no bueno. All right, would you rather have a 10-inch long belly button that swayed to music or accordions for legs?
I'm gonna rock that belly button that sways.
Yeah, you might as well, because you can't do nothing with accordions for legs. I gotta play soccer, and we all agree that soccer is a sport. So
every time you
yeah, that'd be pretty funny. You want to eat poison ivy or a handful of wasps?
So I'm not allergic to poison ivy, so I'm definitely gonna eat the grass.
And I can't stand wasps and bees, so I'm eating poison ivy.
Eat the poison ivy.
This is the worst one ever. Would you rather drown or burn to death? Because I don't want to do.
So in my line of work, I've gotten a little glimpse of how hot fire can be, and I'm probably gonna drown.
Yeah. So one of my favorite comedians is Dane Cook, and he has a bit about this, and he says, I have this recurring nightmare where the devil is telling me to stay in the water that's on fire. So he's drowning in the water, and the top of the water is on fire, and he's like, "You get back into the fiery water." That's just the worst ever.
I'm probably gonna drown.
Yeah, me too. Would you rather eat a whole jar of mayonnaise or a whole tub of butter?
Butter, no question. If you can eat mayonnaise just off of the spoon, you need to go see someone for help right now, because that's disgusting.
I probably need to go see help because I think I can do the mayonnaise.
Butter, definitely butter. Okay.
Would you rather die by a zombie attack or a shark attack? Because zombies are real, just like aliens.
Yeah, I'm gonna get eaten by a shark.
I think the
Because
shark.
I feel like if you survive the zombie attack, you're just constantly gonna get hit by the next one. Like you're never gonna stop.
I'm gonna do the zombie because then I come back and then I can bite people. If you eat the shark, it's over. If you get eaten by a shark, it's over.
Yeah.
I would still have a big shark.
Oh, you would? Okay. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
I mean, I feel like I could stomp a duck, and I don't know how violent a small baby horse would be like that. So I feel like I have a better chance stomping out 100 horses than
for sure.
Going after
Yeah, can you imagine a horse-sized duck?
a 500-pound duck.
Yeah, they eat loaves of bread, son. They'll gobble you up.
Yeah, they'll just smack.
The size of a horse.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna step on them baby horses.
So anyway, that's all the questions that we have. So just having a little fun. Hopefully we get a little bit of information out to y'all. So appreciate y'all watching. If y'all did, everybody's starting to get noisy, so it's time for us to shut it down anyway.